All right, so now we are in that point where we need to build a time dimension into our cube. So to do this, it's a little bit tricky, and there are little details, or a lot of little details, that can really kind of muck things up. So let's go ahead and start with creating a new dimension. And we simply do that by right-clicking on Dimensions and select on New Dimension. And we get our dimension wizard. Select on Next. And it says, how are we going to create this new dimension? Well, we are going to use an existing table. So let's keep that selected. And let's go ahead and select Next. Now, where is our data source view? It is actually the PTI Data Warehouse Complete View, which is what we want. And the table that we want is going to actually be the fact manufacturing table, because that is the table with our dates in it. Now, I'm going to tell you there are a couple of things here that can cause us problems. The first thing I will tell you, do not select anything here that says add key column or in this white area here. This is going to cause issues for you, and I don't know what it is. It might be a bug in SQL Server Analysis Services, so do not select anywhere in those areas. What we want to do is we only want the column of date of manufacture here. So let's go, and in order to do that, we have to actually get rid of all of these others. And that process is a little bit cumbersome, but I'll step you through it. So for the key columns, I'm going to select on product code, select the drop down, and you'll notice at the very top there is a blank. Let's go ahead and select on that blank. And then I select off of it, and I can select the next item, which would be batch numbers, and that would be actually a way of getting into it. And notice that product went away. Now I'm going to select on batch number, do the drop down, select the blank, click on machine number, and notice that went away. Select on machine number, go to the top for the blank, click on date of manufacture, and that will go away. And this is how I want to leave it. So date of manufacture is what I want left. So let's go ahead and select on next when we get to this point. Now it's asking me, do I want to select any of the related tables? And really we want to deselect everything. Now we have to determine what attributes that we want. Well, actually, in this particular case, for the timetable, we want date of manufacture, but we also want year, month, and quarter. But what we do not want is the batch number. Now, also, the attribute type has to be adjusted. Currently, everything is listed as regular, so we're going to have to make things to be time specific. All right, so we're going to get rid of these, and then we're going to include all of these other ones. And let me show you how we're going to do that. So first, we're going to deselect batch number, machine number, and product code. And I'm going to select year, month, and quarter. The next thing is I need to tell SQL Server Analysis Services what type of attributes these are. So the date of manufacture, I'm going to select on regular area for the attribute type and select on the drop down. In this drop down, I want to select on date, calendar, and then I want to select on the first item, which is simply date. Okay. So I will select OK. For year of manufacture, I'm going to select the attribute type, go to date, calendar, and at the very, very, very bottom, there is year. So I will select on year. For the month of manufacture, same type of thing. Go to date, calendar, and then you will find month about halfway through. And then, of course, quarter, we'll do the same thing. Go to date, calendar, and quarter. All right. So this sets everything up for the attributes, and we'll select on next. And then it says, what do we want to call this dimension? So a lot of students will usually hit finish right here, and they'll forget to call this a time dimension. So we're going to call this dim time. All right. And this now we can see what this will include. It'll have the attributes: date of manufacture, year of manufacture, month of manufacture, and quarter of manufacture. All right, so let's finish it. All right, so now we have all of our particular items. And what we want to do is we're going to start to create our hierarchies here. Okay. What I would like to do, I would like to change the way that each of these attributes are listed. So one thing that I can do is make some adjustments to the actual properties here. So I want to kind of make these all into something that is easier to read. Instead of saying date of manufacture, I'd rather just say date. Instead of month of manufacture, I'd rather just say month. So what I'm going to do is select on date. I'm going to come down over here to the properties, and I'm just going to go to basic. And you'll notice that there is a name option, and I am just going to delete the date the of manufacturer component after date. And notice when I do that, the name changes, and I'm going to do that same thing with month and quarter and lastly the year. Okay, so now I want to create my hierarchy, and so we know at the top of our hierarchy is going to be year. It will then go to quarter, month, and then date will be at the bottom. All right, I'm going to give this hierarchy a name, and I will simply call it the date hierarchy. Okay, so now that I have renamed this to date hierarchy, I am going to adjust the attribute relationships. Now I know that there is something wrong with the attributes because I see this little hazard symbol at the top here. So I'll go to attribute relationships, and we can see that the attributes of our date time hierarchy is kind of out of whack. It says that date is related directly to year, directly related to quarter, and directly related to month. So really what we want to do is we want to be able to put these in proper order. So the way to do that is you select the item that you want first to be, and you basically hover it over the item that you want next. So in this particular case, what I want this to say is I want date, which is the largest or the most granular item in the hierarchy. I want date to be before month, and then month to be before quarter, and then quarter to be before year. So what I'm going to do is click and drag month down to quarter, and then I'm going to click quarter down to year. And then I get a strong direct hierarchy as it should be. And I'm going to make each relationship rigid. Okay, so now I know that my hierarchies are put together properly. I'm going to come back to my dimension structure, and if you take a look, that little warning symbol has gone away. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save All. And I am going to close my time dimension, and I'm going to come back to my cube, and I am going to process the cube. Okay, since we've seen processing in cubes before, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and then move on to the next video where we're going to make some edits to our cube that will provide us with some additional calculations.